Hello, everyone. How y'all doing today? I am Luana.
It's chosen.
Today's show is topic will be talk about it Tuesday. We will be talking about how should a step parent or a mother's boyfriend or a father's girlfriend discipline a stepchild. And we want to give our inputs and we want your input. So please ask questions, please give comments, and we will address them.
Absolutely. And thank you for joining in. Yes, it was a topic that was discussed, and we just wanted bring that to you guys' attention that we want to, get some clarification on this. Keep in mind, everybody has a lot of opinions on this, okay? And we're going to use this as an opinion because, people discipline their child how they want, and they let whoever discipline their child how they want. And that's up to them in the courts, okay? But, okay, yeah, let's just get down into it. We're talking about relationships, whether it's a boyfriend, a fiance, or whether it's a husband or either a wife, girlfriend, or a fiance. Should they have the right to discipline the child? And my opinion on it, I don't think they have the ability to discipline the child, and I don't think they should discipline the child. I think that it's the mother's job to discipline a child. I think the significant other, I think their point of view on it would be just to collaborate on what's going on and let the mother do the discipline on the child. Okay.
Mhm.
And what do you think about that as a woman and a man disciplining a child?
Well, me personally, I think that the mother or the father should be the only one disciplined. I'm against hitting. I hitting a child, a step parent or a mom's boyfriend should not physically hit a child. I think whether if it's theirs or not, they should not hit their child because you could hurt them. So I think that in this day and time, we need to really investigate who we letting in our homes and who we allow to discipline or hit. Well, I'm not gonna say hit, talk to our children and deal with our children because there's so much going on and we got to protect our babies at all costs.
Absolutely. And I think kids are so vulnerable, and the teaching of kids, and you have to be careful who you bring in the house and who you have mentoring them. And as you meet someone and you bring them into the home, at what time do you bring them into your home when you have kids? And that's a time frame. And then when is it appropriate to even let the significant other be able to talk to your kids? What And you have to understand what he know and his upbringing and what he's teaching. You got to understand his mind frame or where he's coming from in that aspect. So we have to be careful who we have mentoring and teaching our kids in the home, let alone outside the home. So I think women should really do their due diligence when they bring a guy into the home, even if in fact the kids is not there at the time.
Mm-hmm.
You got to know who you bringing home. And initially, that's the reason why the man always, show violence or things towards a woman, and of course, it'll trickle down to the kids.
Right.
Yeah.
And see, like at a time when in my dating life, when I was dating, I didn't bring men around my children like that. I had to make sure I knew that person's background before I started bringing around my children. And then if I seen something that I didn't like, or my kids had a voice, I gave them a voice. Kids should have a voice. That if they see something, I let them talk to me and tell me about things that they saw, things that they didn't like, and I will address it, or I will, keep them away from my children. I keep my children away from the person and protect my kids. But so what I know is a difference between disciplining a kid and hitting a kid. How do you think that should be?
I think that the significant other, uh, when they discipline the kid, and that could be taking things away from them, not allowing them to do certain activities. I think seniority play a part in that, and you have to see actually who you're dealing with, as far as when you having somebody discipline the kids and talking to them, when they taking something away from the kids and not allowing them to do something. it could be a motive behind it. So you want to know who you're actually dealing with at the time when you have them taking things away and giving the kids, because they could be giving the kids something that they like and using that as a tactic.
Right, right.
Okay, so you have to be careful with that, who you have that. And then not only that, when you bring in someone in the home, and eventually once you connect it with the person, I think it's good to have a sit down collaboration as a whole,
Right,
and
right.
understand what your grounds are and yours are, and what the rules are. And I think women don't put those boundaries in place. They just freelance, and the
Right.
man, does what he want, either with the kids and that with her also.
Because what if the relationship doesn't last for like 2 or 3 years and the guy gone? You let this man discipline your kid, hit your kid, do some things that I could imagine that I didn't seen women let men do to their
You
children.
have resentment from the kids later on.
Yeah, the kids were resent.
You
Yeah.
having men passing through,
Mm-hmm.
disciplining us, and they doing who and know what out there in the streets. And how can you teach me anything and you running from the law?
Do you think that's why some children have a lot of behavior issues, because the men
I think absolutely.
coming through and then doing what they do? Kids watch how their mother's being treated.
Well, it's learned behavior.
It's learned behavior.
It's exactly what it is. I mean, when we born, we learn English because it's a learned behavior. We're around nothing but English. So that's what we learn. If we born around different languages, we're going to catch on to that. Our brains is going to start to adapt that. So also as kids, you bringing these different men around, they're going to adapt to these situations, even though they're not bad. Especially if you want your kids to be successful in life, you bring those people around them so you can show them, not people that's drugging, doing this and that. If you don't want your kids to smoke weed, or you want them to be successful in life, these are the things you put in front of them. And then you wonder why failure is there. It's because that's the first thing you present to your kids is failure.
Okay, let me ask you this question. When you was in dating life, when you was freelancing out there, what kind of interaction you had with a woman that had children, a ready-made family?
Yeah.
How did you handle that?
It was easy for me because I adapt to situations.
Okay.
And when I was dating and a woman had kids, and which it was okay whether it was 2 or 3, and when I go, I learn about her. And when she started pushing me to the point of where she want me to be involved in the kid's life early on, then that's a sign that I don't need to be with you, because you showing me something, that things that you did, and then the kids is going to be rebelling against me already, because somebody already done passed through and did the same thing that I'm doing.
Right.
But you're pushing them on to me. I think it's a time frame. But when I seen that, I kind of just left the situation, and when it's things that I grew up on, and I see the kids behaving in a different way, and mom not being able to handle them like that, it wasn't my place to tell the kids. If mom don't have the situation together at hand, then I need to leave. Because if you get into a relationship and you want to date a man and you have kids, you have to have that in order. How you going to have a relationship and want a man and the things that you don't have your house in order? And not to just say that, it goes for men too. Once he comes into a relationship, he can't have, kids, mamas and baby mamas and things like that drama, and bringing it to your house, and you have respectful kids and they coming over to fight. So I think in a relationship, when you're ready, I think you prepare yourself for that.
Right,
and it's a choice.
Because when I was younger, I had a lot of uncles. And mom was like, "That's your uncle." My uncle, okay, but y'all in a room together, that's your uncle. But see, that plays on a child's mental. That plays on a child's mental. That make a child angry. And then you come in and let a man tell a man, whoop him or discipline him. I just don't think that's right. I have something totally against that.
If you want to put your hands on a kid, you put your hands on yourself.
On yourself. Put your hands on yourself.
And I'm going to say it to you like this. You beat your own ass. If you want to touch a kid, you beat your own ass. Because the thing about it is, I'm talking about reality, not something fantasy. If you don't want nobody to do nothing to you, then don't do it to nobody else. If you want to be talked to, then you talk to somebody else.
I have seen people whoop they woman kids born with their own kids.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this, and like I said, I can only be honest and I can only be real. I grew up on getting my butt beat. I mean, really beat. And my mom did switches, sticks, bats, and she wasn't playing with me and my brother. She was not.
But she ain't let no other man do it.
No.
See, that's the thing.
And the thing about it, I'm saying we grew up being disciplined like that. But I knew that it hurted more so than anything, and I got the point out of it. But I knew it was a better way for that. It didn't necessarily have to be the way that she did it. You can always talk to somebody and really get through to somebody, by really being sincere and talking to them, whether it's your kids or whoever. You don't necessarily, and that's just violence anyway. We have to not, even when you're being violence towards your kids, and I know it's the old way and things like that, and nowadays kids have really got out of control, and we thinking that we need to convert back to the old way, but I beg the difference.
We have a question here. They say, why do some people have a better relationship with other children than they own? And do you owe your children anything when they're grown?
Absolutely not. When they're grown, you don't owe nobody nothing. The only thing and only being that you owe is the Lord. That's the only person you owe once those kids are grown. And you don't owe kids.
But why do men have a better relationship with their woman kids and don't have some with their?
Well, first of all, I don't think that it's because you're actually in the unit. That don't have nothing to do with it, because you have an opportunity to spend time with the father or the mother, whether it's out of the unit. That's a choice. And I think a lot of it comes through jealousy, and kids want all the love. Even when you got your own kids, and say, for instance, you got 2 or 3 kids, and one kid wants more than the other, right?
That's it.
So that's even in your regular kids. One of them will want more than the other one. He got more, she got more. So now, mind you, if you got stepkids or whatever, they're really going to be jealous. And I think, in my opinion, God gave us enough love for everybody.
That's it.
And these positions that we're in, to where when you're not with your kid's mama, for whatever reason, things happen, and you move on into another relationship, you have enough love to love her kids and your own. But now it's up to them whether they want to accept that love. But unfortunately, the kids that's outside of the house, where you stay at, embracing the love more so than the kids that outside. And lastly, I'm gonna end it with this: the mom has a lot to do with that behavior with the kids when they're acting like that.
That's it.
The mom put that in the kids to where dad don't love you and this and that or whatever. Even when you're talking to your child, the mother has more input on the child than the father, and that's just the way it is. But I think the daddy should never give up on trying to have that relationship. But no, you don't owe any kids anything once they're grown.
And I think some parents like a situation where my children's fathers wasn't there, and I never talked down about their fathers to them, right?
Okay.
Then I never played house with another man to let another man act as though they was their father until I married you. You're the first man that I said that this is family. This is all of us. We mom, dad, and kids. This is family right here. Okay. But I never did that, with boyfriends. Because my thing with boyfriends, you don't know how long you're gonna be with them, or a girlfriend, you don't know how long you're gonna be with them. Should you give them a full responsibility to discipline your child? Now, if they're good to them and nice to them, I'm not saying that, but physically abuse.
No, absolutely not. Do not put your hands on nobody else's kids.
I was about to say not put your hand on the kids. No. I was talking discipline. I'm talking about the talking part.
There's a time frame to that. Even when the significant other engaged the child. Okay. Because unfortunately, when you come into a new relationship in a ready-made family, usually the kids is not going to take to you, because they're going to take to their father or their mother, whoever it was. So they're going to resent you off the rip. You got to let them grow onto you.
Yeah.
And once they grow onto you, it'll be more accepting. Okay, less resisting. So you have to let that relationship come to you. You can't force anything. I mean, that's anything in life. You can't force. You got to let that come to you. Now, if it don't actually come to you, where the kids, just say, well, I just don't like you and I want my dad or my mom, then that's the unfortunate part. Now it's up to the two people to say, how do we fix this?
Right.
And if the kids are young, unfortunately, sometimes you may have to apart from the man if the kids play that significant role into where they don't like him and he doing everything he's supposed to do in the relationship, provide for them, even though they're not his, love them and do everything. If they don't accept them, and it keeps conflict in the house, just something has to be done.
And then how do you do this? Like, say, for instance, your background, you got whoopings. My background, I never got a whooping from my mom and my daddy. I probably got tapped from my auntie or uncle. But do you think that you should, like, say, to use the whoopings? Should I have allowed you to come into my life because you believe in whoopings and beatings? I mean, because you got whooping and you believe in it. Should I let you come in my life and change how I discipline my children and let you tell me to beat my kid?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
And I have saw that. I have saw a man tell a mother, you need to whoop his butt or you need to whoop her butt, and a mother would do it. I never gave a man that option and that opportunity to make me discipline my child in front of them.
Well, let me just tell you this. It goes into the relationship part of the two people. And people get in a relationship because of what? They have things in common. Okay. Sometimes you have to have some things in common to either connect. You can't just have nothing in common. Okay, because it's not going to be nothing there. So if I have in common to whoop and beat kids, when they act up, whether they mine or not, and you don't, and that's a disagreement, we're not going to never be able to have no meeting to the mind of that. So I think we have to go our separate ways. You shouldn't force a man in there if that's his prerogative and how he grew up on whooping kids or kids that's not his, and you against it, and you eventually decide to what he want to do and let him discipline the kids. I think that you should have went your way and he went his.
That's it.
That's why I say you have to have meeting of the minds. When you meet somebody, you have to talk about everything.
That's it.
Especially when women have kids. You have to talk about how you feel about my kids. Do you accept them? How you feel about the discipline part of it? How you feel about this? You have to go over all that. And then once you do that, now it's time for action. This person have to actually show you that this is how they, behave or do.
What do you think about a man that comes in a woman's life and try to push her kids away from him because he wants just all of her and don't want to have nothing to do with the kids? What should a mother do at that time?
Leave him alone.
Leave him alone. Okay.
I'm gonna tell you this: everything is a package deal. Whatever I come with, and if I decide to be with somebody, that's what's coming with me. You understand what I'm saying? And whatever you have that's coming with you. And let me be clear: when people get in a relationship, they bring in baggage. So now it's a deciding point. Like, it's up to me. Well, you got this, you got that. What you got in that bag? What you got in that bag? Nah, I don't like what you got in that bag there. I'm gonna have to pass on you. I went with these two bags, but this one, it's a little too heavy. So I think, it was good talking to you, but that's how you have to do it. Once you force yourself into something that you guys don't have anything in common, and the discipline, things like that, especially with kids and things that's going on nowadays with kids, you have to just move on. You can't let money be a factor because he had money, the things he do, business or whatever, and you accept all that, and the kids get abused in that aspect.
Be neglected.
No, you can't do that. No, that's a no-brainer.
And I totally believe that. I just wish that I seen more women and more mothers protecting their babies at all costs. I
think, and just to cut you off, just to try to get a little bit into it, is that it's not nothing bashing women at all. I'm a man to love all women. All women. But I think women should take the concept out of that word with men, that I don't need a man and all this kind of stuff or whatever. Because God put us here for a reason. We need each other.
That's it.
You know, that's why he made the man and the woman or whatever partners that you have. You know, that's why you guys are united. And when you take those things away from a child, and that's how they're supposed to be raised with a man and a woman, where they can have two different outlooks, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when the kid don't get that other outlook, you're starving that kid from that.
Mm-hmm.
So the kid end up getting that outlook from somewhere that's negative,
Mm-hmm.
and now here's the generation of curse. How do you break it?
Yeah.
So it has to stop with the parent, right?
It start with the parent.
The parent has to be the initiate to stop that, and all you have to do is just unplug it.
Yeah. And some people will settle for anything. If the man is mentally abusing your children, it's unhealthy. They go to school and display that. The kids out here, they all been raised different lately. Lately in this era, every kid being raised differently, you know. And they became so angry and mad, and they take it out on people at school, at teachers, and just don't know how to act. But it starts at home.
Start with the parents. And I tell you this, and people don't realize it though. And you know, they will in their own way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because like I say, everything that I say is just an opinion. But I think people are really selling their souls out here. And they don't realize what selling your soul is. They don't understand the concept of selling your soul. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and when you're selling your soul, it's like you're accepting anything.
Mm-hmm.
You don't accept anything. That's
Mm-hmm.
selling yourself. That's the terms of selling yourself short. You know, you just accept anything for a cost. It could be money, a car, anything of value that you can use. You'll take that and accept it and sell yourself short.
Mm-hmm.
You don't do that. You don't have to sell yourself short. You sell your soul. And people don't understand you're really selling your soul to something that you really getting something because you don't need it.
Mm-hmm.
And you bringing something in that's negative,
mm-hmm.
and somebody else is suffering from it. You don't have to do that. God got a plan for everybody. You don't have to sell your soul. He has so much in store for you.
Mm-hmm.
Only thing you have to do is really wait on it and pray on it. You don't have to sell yourself short.
Wait on
and
it,
a lot of the kids get caught up in that because either the mother or the father, they settle, and all the time the kids get the short end of the stick. Even in a breakup in a relationship, the kids suffer tremendously. And then you go into mental illness with the kids, and you wondering why the kids are so hyper and they all like this or whatever. It's a part of them missing, right?
Right. Yeah.
Huh? Yeah. So it's either the mom or the dad. Yeah. And that part of the body is struggling.
Yeah.
It's struggling like, where's mom, where's dad? And you don't realize that because you're not a baby no more. You don't understand that concept.
And then mother and fathers will want to know, like, where did I go wrong with this child? Yeah. What did I do? Because, what did I say? But see, the mental abuse started when they little.
Because you didn't let go. Let go and let God. Let that person see their son or their daughter, and you move on. And let the child prosper and get better.
Let the kids learn their dad.
People want to see their child do good in life. But when you starve them from the mother and father, how? How can they do good, though? You know what I'm saying? If you are in the best interest of your child, now, let me just be clear about this. If the mother or the father are in a very negative and toxic situation, whether it's drugs or dope or in bad situations, you don't let your kid go over there. Absolutely not. You protect your kid with all costs. But if you're in where you jealous of him because he's with somebody else, or you jealous of her or whatever, think about the kid first. That's all you have to do. Think about your child first and talk to your child. If anything happens, your child will come to you and let you know what's going on or whatever. But let the child have the opportunity to have the mother and father. Right. And that way, now the father, when the child go over to the father house, he can discipline his child. And the mother can discipline her child. Then the significant other don't need to. The significant other, the only thing that person have to do is just fit in, like, you know, talk or, yeah, that's right. You know, yeah, be supportive of your mom, be supportive of your dad. You know, that's what the significant other is there for. That's the support that you bring, the person that's, you know, on the outside.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's just so important.
I just think that parents need to provide safe havens for their children, safe havens, and protect them at all costs. Love on your babies, because tomorrow is not a promise. Embrace your children. Speak life into those babies. Raise people. I mean, things just need to change, and the change start at home.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, you got to do
Change at
better.
home.
Life is short. You have kids, you have expectations for your kids, or what have you. And if you have those expectations, then you have to support them, and you have to give them the things that they need to grow.
Mhm.
Just like a plant need water to grow. You have to water your child. You have to make sure they have the father, they have the mother, they have the grandma, they have the teachings that they need to be able to survive out here in this world.
And one thing in all cases is not sometimes it's not a mother, it's not a father. But like I say, I was a single mother, but I was a strong mother. I had my first child when I was 16.
Mhm.
I could say I was a strong woman, a strong mother without the fathers. I took care of mine. I never told them nothing bad about their dads. They learned about their dads on their own. And that's
Okay.
what some of us parents need to do. Kids in this day got cell phones. The daddy ain't got to go through you to talk to their kid. Get the kid a cell phone, let them talk to their daddy and mama, and then let it be like that. We gotta stop being just. We just gotta loosen up and just.
Women are extremely strong. I commend women. I
Thank
love them. You guys, you go through so much with your bodies, y'all mind, y'all are carriers, y'all carry us, and y'all have so much impact on a lot of things and a lot of levels.
We
And
hold power.
and I love you guys for that. I truly love you guys
We
for
hold
that.
power.
But the thing is that, like, when you go back to the cartoon age, right?
Mm.
If you give a person too much power, what do they do with it? They start to abuse it.
They abuse
You know what
power.
I'm saying? And women, y'all have so much power. And I just wish that you guys don't abuse that power with the system. Allow fathers to see their sons and daughters. Don't abuse that power that you guys have. Y'all have so much power and influence or whatever. And I would wish and I would pray that you guys use that in faithfully, so we all can be happy and grow. And the kids, once we leave here, the kids have a good example of what mom did, how good mom was. As a single mom, how mom persevered through things, and without dad. And unfortunately, some dads are just deadbeat dads. That's just the what it is. And sometimes it's just unfortunate situations where mom and dad just didn't work out. And then when that happens, sometimes mom get mad and bash dad, and she used the kids as a pawn, which is unfortunate. And that's one of the powers that she has. People shouldn't fight as couples for kids.
That's it.
They're both of y'all.
But the kids say, yeah.
Y'all share them and help them grow together. It shouldn't be a fight. The fight should be is that I want to pour more in them. You want to pour more. And those are good fights.
And the kids are already going through something when the parents separate. They used to seeing mommy and daddy. Now all of a sudden they don't see daddy no more. They see mommy and daddy in two different things. They see mama crying over another no good man. They see dad going through something with another woman. That's a lot on kids by itself.
And then, and the thing is what we're trying to get you to really think about. Just think about your kids. You got so much peer pressure out here on the kids. You got drugs and fighting and influence, and kids pulling alarms in schools and all this kind of stuff. And if you don't pull them, you're not cool. And then when they come home, you got mom separating the kid from dad, or dad separating the kid from mom. You're putting that much pressure on that kid. What do you think how that kid is going to react? It's going to run to some type of safe haven, and somebody is going to adapt the kid, teach the kid some more wrongdoing, which what you were doing. And now there you go. You got an out of control kids.
The streets got
an out of control kid. Now the kid is dealing with mental health. And then now you're wondering why the kid's behavior is like this, or why he's acting up in school and things like that. Where did it start at?
We all got to understand at this point. We got to understand at this point, we all in a fight for our life. We have this COVID that's going on out here. There's mental health touching some and everybody, including the kids.
Absolutely.
We in a fight for our life. If we fight inside the home and gotta go out in this world and fight people outside, baby, we in trouble. We gotta start praying and protecting our babies, keeping our kids covered. I'm telling y'all, keep your kids covered.
And if you look at it too, like I said, the world is changing. You got this, like you said, COVID going on. Kids have to wear masks. and they have to get the vaccination
It's
and
messed
things
with their
like that.
mental.
And they're not understanding what's going on. So now imagine that going on, things at home going on, things going on in school, things going out there in the street. Where are you protecting your child at?
Where's our safe haven?
You know, so you want to be Superman or Wonder Woman with your kids. You want to be their savior until they become adults. You know, you want to cover them and don't look out for your best interest. You look out for their best interest. And most of the time, it's unfortunate, parents look out for their best interest. If they're mad at somebody, they neglect them from grandma or granddad or like mom or dad or whoever because they're basing it off their feelings. We're not looking at the child. And then as they get older, you wonder what went wrong.
I know we got to get ready to go, but I got to ask this question. A parent will let a kid go through all kind of abuse at home, but let a teacher put the teacher.
Yeah. Well, and the reason why is learned behavior.
Learned behavior.
It's learned behavior. When they see that, you know, they grow up and they see somebody on the outside doing something to the kids or whatever, then they running out there to protect and do. But then it's okay to abuse and do this kind of thing in the house, which is not. You have to start that at home, the protection and the coverage over your kids. And most importantly, pray for your kids and pray with them.
That's it.
You know, pray with them.
And we got to get there.
Yes.
Prayer changes things.
Absolutely.
Prayer make things happen. Keep your children covered, love, and protect. Be a mama hen, ladies. Kill to protect. Protect your babies.
And most importantly, though, right? Lead by example.
That's it.
Lead by example. Mm-hmm. How can you expect certain things out of your kids and the behaviors that you do? I see things, parents fighting and all this kind of stuff or whatever. Their kids go to fight and then they be like, yeah, kick that boy butt and all this kind of stuff. How do you expect for him to get in college and in these places where you saying my kid can't get in there because of this and that? No, it's because of how you brought your kid up, how your kid talks, how your kid speaks to people. Mm-hmm. You know, you have to change that behavior. It starts at home. Right. But let me just be clear. You can change that behavior. It's not too late. This is what this is for. That if you can, you know, see something in this that can spark you to either if you have something that you need to change, and it's okay, you know, pray on it first and then start making those changes. Don't say you're going to change. Just put it into action and trust and believe people will see it.
You can change your mindset as a mother today or a father today and become a better parent today.
Absolutely.
And because what we sing, I sing toxic stuff when I was younger, and I did not bring that toxic stuff into my children's life. I cut the generational curse off. I did not cuss at my kids. I didn't swear at my kids. I didn't call them out their name. I didn't put my hands on my kids. One thing my children didn't like is, oh, you know what? When we get home, we're going to have a long talk. They done cried and been sad and scared, right? And so when we get home, I know they felt my drift. So I didn't even have to go home and talk to my kids because they was already scared for that long talk.
That's right.
Because I instilled that in them that all I had to do was talk to them. I don't have to. My uncle told me, you ain't got to hit no kid to make a kid listen. Talk to them.
And one thing that you don't do, you don't fight in front of your kids. You know, you treat this as an adult and you move and go into another room and you talk. Even when I say don't fight, that don't mean go in another room and fight. That means go in there and work it out. Right. You know, that's what you guys do. Show kids that you can work things out in that aspect. And I think that's
okay. So, yeah. We thank you all for tuning in.
Yes,
we appreciate you all for your comments, your likes. We appreciate for y'all tuning in. We're gonna come back with more. We're gonna come back on Tuesday again?
Yeah, Tuesday. And I think what we're going to follow up on, because we got so many outpours on unforgiveness, and I think that's going to be what we're going to bring back in Tuesday about unforgiveness.
I think it should be one more day this week versus Tuesday, and we'll bring Tuesday. Tuesday is when the new shows come on. Okay. And then we just bring other things that we need to touch back on, like a second day.
Okay, great. That'd be great. Yeah, so we're going to touch back on unforgiveness one day this week.
Yes, one day this week.
We're going to get on that unforgiveness. So we want you guys to be able to forgive and move on so God can give you all the blessings that you got coming to you. So all the doors you want open, they're wide open for you.
Right. All you got to do is forgive, let go, and let God. I promise you, me and him
That's
both did it on many levels.
Yes.
But until then, until next time, we will see you all later.